Hello everyone, welcome back to Knowledge Bytes. Over the past few episodes, we have explored some of most important concepts behind modern AI. We have learned about transformers, tokenization, embeddings, and vector search. But have you ever wondered what actually happens inside ChatGPT after you press enter? So, how does your question become an intelligence answer in just few seconds? Today, we will go behind the scenes and follow your prompt through every stage inside a foundation model. Let's begin. Everything starts with your prompt. Imagine you ask ChatGPT, explain artificial intelligence in simple terms. To us, it's just a sentence, but to AI, it's not. Just like we learned in our tokenization episode, the model first breaks your sentence into smaller pieces called tokens. A token can be a whole word or part of a word, or a number or a punctuation. Why? Because AI doesn't process complete sentence, it processes tokens. That's why we learn in a tokenization episode. Now that your prompt has been converted into tokens, the next challenge is helping the computers to understand what those tokens actually means. Right? So next, words by themselves doesn't mean anything to a computer, right? Isn't it? The computers understand numbers, not language. That's where we learn. So every token is converted into a mathematical representation called an embeddings. Remember our embedding episode? Embeddings capture the meaning of word. For example, words like doctor, hospital, and nurse end up close together because they are related. So this allows the model to understand context and relationships rather than just matching text, right? So at this point, your prompt has become something model can understand mathematically, right? So even the most advanced AI models can't process unlimited information at once, right? So that's where the context window comes into picture. So this think of it's a AI working memory, right? It defines how many tokens the model can consider while generating a response, right? Everything inside this window can influence the answer. Everything outside the window, it cannot influence the answer. So the larger context window, the more information the model can use to understand your request, right? So but this is also explains something many chat gpt users have experienced, isn't it? Now, so have you ever been in a long conversation with the chat gpt and thought, right? So but I already told you that here's why. As a conversation grows, new tokens keep entering the context window, isn't it? So eventually, older tokens move out that window. So the conversation isn't deleted, it's simply no longer part of the model's active working memory, right? So now the model knows what it can see. The next question is, how does it decide what to focus on? So this is where one of the biggest breakthrough in AI comes into a play, that is attention. Remember our transformers episode? Attention is the mechanism that made transformers so powerful, right? So instead of treating every word equally, the model assigned more important words or more importance to the words that matters most, right? For example, in the sentence, the capital of France is Paris. So if you ask what is what is its capital, the model focuses much more on France and Paris than the words like the, of, or, is, right? So while the context window decides how much the model can see, so attention decides what deserves the most focus. Now let's see where all these components comes together. So far we have seen tokenization, embeddings, context window, and attention. But where do all this process happens? Inside a foundation model. A foundation model is a large AI model trained on enormous amount of data, or books, or websites, or code, research papers, and much more. Instead of being built for one specific task, it learns general patterns that can be applied for many tasks, right? So that's where the same foundation model can answer questions, write code, summarize documents, translate languages, and generate creative content, right? So the models like ChatGPT, Claude, Llama, or Gemini, and Amazon Nova are all examples of foundation models. Now let's understand the response part. So now comes the part that surprises the most people, right? So the ChatGPT doesn't generate an entire paragraph instantly. Instead, it predicts one token at a time. First, it predicts the most likely text next token, right? Then it uses that token to the predicts next one. Same way, it predicts to the one token after the one. So this process repeats incredibly fast until the entire response is complete. So every answer you receive is built one token, right? So is built one token at a time usually. So thousands of calculations happens in just few seconds, right? So let's follow the complete journey one last time. So you type a prompt, that prompts broken into the tokens. Those tokens become embeddings. The model process then within its context window. Attention identifies the most relevant information. Everything happens inside a foundation model. Finally, the model predicts one token after one another until your response is complete. Right? So, what feels like a simple conversation is actually a sophisticated pipeline running behind the scenes in milliseconds, isn't it? So now comes to let's recap. So you prompt is broken into tokens. That's where we learn, and tokens become embeddings so the model can understand meaning. So the context window determines how much information the model can use. Attention helps the model focus on what most matters. All this happens inside a foundation model, which generates the response one token at a time. So the next time you use ChatGPT, you will know exactly what's happening behind the scenes. It's not magic, it's mathematical probability and years of AI research working together to generate intelligence responses. Right? That's great. So right. So I hope this episode helps you understand how modern AI really works. In our next Knowledge Bytes episode, we will dive into the large language models that are LLMs, right? And explore how they relate to foundation models and why they are transforming the way we interact with the AI. Until then, keep learning, keep building, and as always, see you in next episode.